morning, dear devotees. So nice. Thank you. Thank you. Audience participation is welcome. It's so wonderful to see all of you. Thank you for joining us for our Sunday Bhagavat Sravana program. We're here every Sunday. The format of the day will be as follows. We just had some wonderful kirtan. Thank you so much to our kirtaniyas. We will have class given by His Grace Dina Bandhu Prabhu. We will have some more kirtan and arti for their lordships, and then we will have prasadam in the back, vegan sanctified food. We're so happy to have you here. And I am very honored to get to introduce our speaker today, His Grace Dina Bandhu. He began exploring the Bhakti tradition as a teenager after discovering a recording of kirtan. He works as a hospital chaplain, offering spiritual support to people of all faiths and backgrounds. He regularly facilitates workshops and groups about the teachings and practices of bhakti, approaches to spiritual care, and the intersection of creativity and spirituality. He also serves here at Bhakti Center as a member of our community care team. Please come together with 3 big Hari Bols for our speaker, His Grace Dina Bandhu Prabhu. Hari Bol! Hari Bol!
Hare Krishna. So nice to see everyone. Thank you all for coming this morning. So glad to see everyone here. And grateful for the opportunity. Thank you very much, Bhagavat Bhakti Prabhu, Jani Sai Prabhu, for the opportunity to speak this morning and to attempt to glorify Sri Hanuman in preparation and meditation for the forthcoming Ram Navami. So very grateful to share and to join with everyone in the special Sangha this morning. Welcome to everyone. And yes, so we will begin. We customarily singing Jai Radha Madhava, or
It's up to you.
yeah, we can sing briefly Jai Radha Madhava. Yeah, sure. Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Janavallabha Girivaradari Yashoda Nandana Brajajana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol. So I'm looking at these beautiful pictures of Sri Hanuman that Jaini Thai Prabhu kindly left on the podium here. He said he found them today. So he's giving us inspiration as always. So just wanted to share with everyone. Here's Hanuman, topic of our lecture today, and we pray the center of our meditation in the days to come as we approach Sri Ram Navami. Also beautiful here. I call it Ram Parivar, so Sita, Ram, Lakshman, Hanuman. Okay. So we'll begin. We'll read one verse from Srimad Bhagavatam to start. If anyone is inclined to follow along, you're most welcome. I can tell you the verse number otherwise, but we'll read everything here. It's coming from Srimad Bhagavatam, 5th canto, chapter 19, text number 1. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Okay, so we'll read the Sanskrit. Shri Sukha Uvacha Kim Purushe Varshe Bhagavantam Adi Purusham Lakshmanagrajam Sita Biramam Ramam Tatcharana Sankarsha Birataha Param Bhagavato Hanuman Saha Kim Purushair Avirata Bhaktir Upaste. So we'll read. We can read the translation here. Srila Shukadev Goswami said, "My dear king, in Kim Purusha Varsha, the great devotee Hanuman is always engaged with the inhabitants of that land in devotional service to Lord Ramachandra, the elder brother of Lakshman and dear husband of Sita Devi." We'll offer some invocation mantras. Om Agyanatimirandasya Gunanjana Shalakaya Chakshurum Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavam Sha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakanvitam Scha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Bhevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Hare Krishna. So before we begin our discussion, just like to sincerely seek everyone's blessings and well wishes that we may have a meaningful, uplifting discussion this morning, and something that can be nourishment for our spiritual lives and something that we can earnestly carry with us in the days to come, something that ultimately may be pleasing to our spiritual master, to Srila Prabhupada, to the devotees here, and for the pleasure of the Lord and his devotees. So, in this verse that we just read, Srila Prabhupada translates these individual terms very beautifully. I just wanted to highlight two of them. So here Hanuman is characterized as Param Bhagavataha. Param Bhagavat. It means the great devotee celebrated throughout the universe. So Hanuman is revered as an exemplary, topmost devotee, Param Bhagavat. And then next term that stands out very beautifully here is Avirata Bhakti. Avirata means continuous, and of course Bhakti, possessor of devotional service. So Hanuman is engaged in continuous devotional service. So we often hear in our Bhakti teachings about Bhakti that is unmotivated and uninterrupted. So this is considered to be the pinnacle of Bhakti, Bhakti that has no separate motivation. Bhakti is perfectly potent under any circumstance, even if it's considered Mishra Bhakti, mixed a little bit with karma, desire for fruitive activities, if it's mixed a little bit with Gyan, desire for knowledge, it's still powerful, and of course will still lead one to the ultimate goal. But as aspiring bhaktas on the path, we are aiming for and trying to develop a heartfelt attraction for this continuous bhakti, unmotivated, uninterrupted, ongoing, natural, right? So bhakti is often classified as sanatan dharma, meaning the eternal function of the soul. So bhakti is at best, at its highest pinnacle, unmotivated and uninterrupted. So yes. So we'll just share a couple passages that highlight the way in which Sri Hanuman's bhakti is unmotivated and uninterrupted. Hare Krishna. Welcome to Raghunath Prabhu. Thank you very much for coming. Hare Krishna. So, Srila Prabhupada writes in Nectar of Devotion, chapter 4, in the same Hayashirsha Pancharatra, after Narasimhadev wanted to give benedictions to Prahlad Maharaj, Prahlad did not accept any material benediction and simply asked the favor of the Lord to remain his eternal devotee. In this connection, Prahlad Maharaj cited the example of Hanuman, the eternal servitor of Lord Ramachandra, who also set an example by never asking any material favor from the Lord. He always remained engaged in the Lord's service. That is the ideal character of Hanuman, for which he is still worshipped by all devotees. Prahlad Maharaj also offered his respectful obeisances unto Hanuman. There is a well-known verse spoken by Hanuman in which he says, "My dear Lord, if you like, you can give me salvation from this material existence, or the privilege of merging into your existence. But I do not wish any of these things. I do not want anything which diminishes my relationship with you as servant to master, even after liberation." So Hanuman never asked Lord Ram for anything separate other than devotion unto him, other than service. So he's celebrated as the ideal eternal servant. This is his mood. We have rasas, different moods in which we relate to the Lord. Hanuman is an exemplar in the mood of dasya ras, in the mood of a servant, loving servant. And so we celebrate Hanuman as the ideal devoted servant. And of course, we emphasize that this devotional service, so now we've established in the first verse, Srila Prabhupada says that Hanuman is practicing continuous bhakti, uninterrupted. And now we establish with this passage that his bhakti is unmotivated. He never had any separate desire, not even for a moment. So this echoes in Srimad Bhagavatam, first canto. We hear, Savai pumsham paro dharmo yato bhaktir adokshaje ahaitukya prathiyata yayatma suprasiddhati. Translation: the supreme occupation, dharma, for all humanity is that by which men can attain to loving devotional service unto the transcendent Lord. Such devotional service must be unmotivated and uninterrupted to completely satisfy the self. So, as we hear these stories today about Hanuman, we can meditate upon his spirit of unmotivated, uninterrupted. There's no other motivation. Anyabhilashata shunyam. There's nothing else that's coloring his devotion other than pure love and attraction for Lord Ram. So we'll share a few brief stories that just give us a glimpse into the wonderful devotional qualities of Hanuman. Of course, we understand this is the tip of the iceberg. You know, such personalities can be spoken about eternally, and there's no end to the depth of devotion that we can glean from the example of such a personality. But we can share a few stories. So, of course, Ramayan is the story of Lord Ram. Lord Ram was a great prince, and he was about to be made king of Ayodhya. And at this time, due to some arrangement, there was some envious personality in the court, namely Kaikeyi, the stepmother of Lord Ram. And at this time, due to a boon that was offered to her by Lord Ram's father, Maharaj Dasarat, Lord Ram is banished to the forest on the eve of ascending the throne. He's banished into the forest for 14 years, exiled. And because Lord Ram is celebrated as an exemplar of dharma, of proper conduct, he's the Lord. If he wanted to overrule this situation, of course he can. He's the Supreme Lord. He can do anything and everything. But for the purpose of upholding this exemplary role of one who practices dharma, and also, we understand, for his sweet pastimes, for his lila, by which we are still praying to be attracted. I was going to say attracted, by which we are still praying to be attracted and absorbed in these pastimes in our spiritual lives. Yeah, to attract us, he enacts these pastimes. And he gives personalities such as Hanuman also the opportunity to do incredible service under these circumstances. So he is exiled along with his brother Lakshman and Sita. They go with him. And along the way, later into the exile, after many years of living very, very austere existence in the forest, Sita is kidnapped by an evil demon named Ravana. And Ravana kidnaps Sita, and Hanuman is one of the personalities who Ram and Lakshman meet along the way, who offers to help them in recovering Sita. So when Sita was kidnapped by Ravana, Rama is completely grief-stricken. Sita is his very life. Sita, we understand philosophically that Sita is the Ladini Shakti, the love potency, the internal potency of Lord Ram, just as Srimati Radharani is the Ladini Shakti of Krishna. So Ram is without his very self when Sita is kidnapped. And Hanuman offers to assist Lord Ram by serving as a messenger. So Ram gives Hanuman his ring, his signet ring, and he says, go to Lanka, where Sita has been kidnapped, and serve as my messenger. Tell her that we're waiting for her, we're looking for her. Reassure her. And also, you can show her this ring. In case she doesn't believe you, you can show her this ring, so she knows that this message is truly coming from me. So, Hanuman goes to Lanka, and how does he go? Meanwhile, they're trying to build a bridge to Lanka with great boulders, and this is a beautiful pastime as well. But Hanuman has this potency he just leaps over the ocean. He flies, leaps over the ocean, if you like. And then he ends up in Lanka, and he goes to Sita, shows her this ring of Lord Ram, by which Sita is stricken, grief-stricken, but also consoled, given hope. You can imagine the mix of emotions that Sita experiences when she sees the ring of her beloved Lord Ram. And at this time, Hanuman consoles her, listens to her, assures her. So this is something that's very important in our spiritual life. When one may be going through something, the great devotees come and they help us. They help us to remember that the Lord is with us. So Hanuman is doing the same. He's reminding Sita, though outwardly you've been separated from your beloved Lord Ram, he's with you. He's with you in this moment. Please take his ring, and I will be helping. And Lord Ram is endeavoring at this very moment, tirelessly, to reach you again. Isn't this the case in our spiritual life, actually? We may think that we're the ones endeavoring, but actually the Lord is constantly endeavoring to bring us back to him, constantly endeavoring to attract us to his lotus feet. The Lord is far more eager to connect with us than we are to connect with the Lord in most cases. Of course, I can't speak wonderful personalities here, but we understand that the Lord's desire to connect with us is unfathomable. So anyway, so Hanuman also, meanwhile, is chastising Ravana. He's not afraid. He's not sneaking into Lanka and telling Sita this and then leaving. He goes before Ravana and he says, how dare you? How dare you do this? How dare you take the Lord's consort from him? And he warns him. He says, you may be powerful, because we understand Ravana was a very, very powerful personality, extremely intelligent, extremely, on some level, spiritually advanced. We can say in terms of gyan, in terms of spiritual knowledge. This goes to show also, gyan is important, but it's not everything. If our heart is not in the right place, then ego can grab onto that knowledge and do whatever it likes. So we really want to remember, as in the case of Hanuman, Gyan is not what is emphasized in our path. It's bhakti, it's devotion, it's love, it's purity of heart, and it's dedicatedness to the Lord, dedication. So anyhow, he chastises Ravana for thinking that he can even, for even thinking that he can possess Sita, because we understand a deeper significance of this pastime, as well as that we may think that we are in possession of the Lord's energy in various ways, but of course we are not. The Lord's energy, whether it be material objects, whether it be gifts and abilities we've been given by none other than the Lord, they are best reconciled and glorified when they are reposed in devotion to the Lord. They are best offered back to the Lord at every step, and that's what bhakti is about. How can I take what has been given to me, and in loving recognition of that, offer it from my heart back to the Lord? So Hanuman exemplifies this devotional principle because he's endeavoring very hard to reunite the Lord's energy with the Lord. So Ravana attempts to punish and harm Hanuman by lighting his tail on fire. He says, oh, these monkeys, they're proud of their tails. So he wraps Hanuman's tail in some, flammable cloth and puts different types of flammable substances on that cloth and lights his tail on fire. And though it's very painful to Hanuman, in that moment he's thinking, how can I offer this circumstance to the Lord? This is another hallmark of the pure devotee. The pure devotee, whatever adversity, whatever struggles, whatever trials and tribulations may come along, they're not thinking, I'm angry at the Lord in this moment. Of course we understand on a human level, it's okay. We may sometimes feel anger toward the Lord, especially when we're really suffering in this world. But on the supreme transcendental platform, the pure devotees are always trying to offer their struggles to the Lord. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, whatever you eat, whatever you offer, whatever you give away in charity, and also whatever austerities you perform, you go through this as an offering to me. So our struggles in this world can also be understood as austerities. We may not have undertaken them voluntarily, but they come. Jayadvaita Swami said one time, he said, you have to embrace your circumstances, because either way, your circumstances will embrace you. So sometimes voluntarily or involuntarily, we have austerities to bear in this life. But as Hanuman exemplified, we can offer these austerities to the Lord. We can offer our difficulties to the Lord and turn it into something that may be acceptable, that may bring us closer to loving connection with the Lord. So this is what Hanuman does, because when his tail is on fire, though he's in immense pain, he thinks and he says, oh, okay, I can think of something I can do here. So he starts running around the kingdom of Lanka and setting everything on fire as his tail is burning. So he's playing a role in defeating Ravana and also foreboding Ravana's ultimate defeat by Lord Ram. So we can offer our trials and tribulations to the Lord as exemplified by Sri Hanuman. So Hanuman returns to Ram with Sita's jewel, which is called Chudamani. This is the name of this special jewel. So again, one token given by Rama to Sita, and then a token given by Sita to Ram. So they're encouraging each other, and this is foreshadowing. They will be reunited. So he explains to Lord Ram at this time what happened, and the mood, the envious mood of Ravana, and how he consoled Sita, and how even after they lit his tail on fire, he succeeded in burning the kingdom of Lanka. And Lord Ram is so touched in this moment. He's so overwhelmed with gratitude and appreciation for Hanuman. He's practically speechless. And he says, there's nothing I can offer you in return. I am always indebted to you for what you've done. And all I can offer you is my own self. And he embraces Hanuman. So this is a very special moment in which Hanuman, his desires are completely fulfilled in that moment of Lord Ram's embrace. And similarly, Lord Ram, we understand it's not a one-way street in our devotional connection with the Lord. It's not a one-way street. We have also our example of Lord Jagannath. Every summer we love to participate in New York Ratha Yatra here to see Lord Jagannath, Baladev, Subhadra in procession down Fifth Avenue. And they're smiling, they're beaming. Why are they beaming? They're beaming because they are touched and moved by the love of their devotees. The origin of Lord Jagannath is when he sees the residents of Vrindavan in Kurukshetra. They meet after a long time, and he takes this ecstatic form. So this is all to say that the Lord is touched by our attempts to come to him. The Lord is touched by whatever love we are mustering within our heart. The Lord sees that and amplifies that and magnifies that. And in the case of a great personality like Hanuman, the Lord can become overwhelmed. The Lord doesn't even know what to say, because the Lord wants to be completely overwhelmed by the love of the devotees. The Lord doesn't want to retain some type of composure in that moment. The Lord doesn't want to just be in a space where constantly there's awe and reverence. The Lord wants to be completely merged in this feeling of love with the devotee. So anyway, so he embraces Hanuman in this moment and is ever indebted to him. Meanwhile, of course, Hanuman, what's the attitude of a devotee in that moment? He's thinking, oh, it's only by your mercy, Lord Ram. It's only by your mercy that I was able to do any of these things. Nothing that I did. So this is the beautiful interplay between the sincere devotee of the Lord and the Lord. That the Lord is feeling indebted, feeling that actually what's been done by the devotee can never be repaid. Of course, Krishna expresses a similar sentiment to the gopis. He says, I can never repay your love. And meanwhile, the exalted devotees of the Lord are feeling, I didn't do anything. It's only by your mercy. So this is a very sweet exchange, and we can meditate upon this as we approach Sri Ram Navami, and also just in our own devotional lives, we can try to remember that we're not alone, that actually the Lord is constantly pulling us ever closer. For us, sometimes it's just we have to keep our hearts open. We have to keep our hearts open to be attracted by the beauty of the Lord. The Lord's naturally beautiful. Krishna, the all-attractive. But are we allowing ourselves to be attracted? We can always check in with ourselves. How am I allowing myself to be attracted? But the good news is that inevitably this is what's happening. The Lord is all attractive. It will happen. So The Lord is giving credit to his devotee, and the devotee takes no credit for himself. So in another story, Hanuman, and we have until 12:30, right? Okay, just want to double check on the time. Okay, and we want to leave space for questions and reflections. Most welcome. So another story, Hanuman's carrying the mountain. So in battle, when the battle finally ensues between Ravana and Ram and the army, Lakshman, the brother of Hanuman, the brother of Lord Ram, is injured in battle, quite seriously. And they bring the doctor, who is part of the army. And the doctor says, okay, this is very serious, but if we can get one very special healing herb to bring, a medication to bring to Lakshman, he can survive. But this herb is only available on a very faraway mountain. And it's this type of herb, he describes what it looks like and how it can be found. And Hanuman says, yes, I will go, because as we've established, he's able to leap over the ocean. So he leaps over the ocean again to retrieve this special herb. And by the time he gets there, he goes to the mountain and he's looking and he kind of has forgotten. He's forgotten what type of herb it should be. So in that moment, he says, okay, I'll just bring the whole mountain. So he lifts the mountain, and this is a very charming, sweet pastime of Hanuman. His bhakti is just allowing him quite literally to move mountains. This is an important message for us also. We may be very insignificant, but we can remember that inevitably by sincere devotion, we can do things that we thought we could never do. Things that we thought were impossible in our lives, and things that we feel that we personally have no capability to do. So sometimes this happens just by devotion. So Hanuman lifts the mountain, flies back over the ocean, and presents Lakshman with the necessary herb, along with nice variety of other things as well. He places this before Lakshman. So we remember that sometimes it feels in our lives that we may be facing insurmountable situations. But our devotion allows us, by the mercy of the Lord, by the mercy of the Lord's devotees, sometimes we understand that in the case of like a spiritual master giving us an instruction, with that instruction comes the capability to enact the instruction. So it's not just an instruction. We're actually receiving empowerment and mercy in that moment. So on the spiritual path, we are moved and compelled to do things that are beyond our comfort zone or outside of our own self-perception of what we may be able to do. But we're dependent upon mercy and grace. And if we look to that, my spiritual master told me, I thought this was very nice. I really reflect on this a lot. Sometimes we're told to be humble in spiritual life. Quite often we're told to be humble in spiritual life. But we're also told, utsaha nischayat daryat tatat karma pravartana. We're supposed to endeavor with confidence and enthusiasm. So how do we balance that? How do we keep humble, but also remain confident and enthusiastic? So my spiritual master, he shared that we are we are enthusiastic and confident because we're completely confident in the caliber of mercy that we're receiving. We're receiving incredible mercy from the Lord, and that mercy is constantly flowing, especially in this Kali Yuga. Shri Radha Murlidhar Gaurachandra Ki Jai. Especially in this Kali Yuga. We are receiving incredible mercy in this Kali Yuga because Kali Yuga itself is considered worshipable, because in this age of quarrel and hypocrisy, the Lord can be very easily approached simply by chanting his holy names. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So we can have all confidence that mercy is always flowing in our life, and it's not ordinary mercy. It's a very, very high caliber of potent, liberal, loving mercy is always flowing in our life. So then at the same time, we remain humble because we recognize that without such mercy, we are helpless. There's nothing we can do. So this is where the balance comes in. So anyway, Hanuman brings the mountain to Lakshman, and Lakshman is saved. Because by his devotion, Hanuman was able to move mountains, cross oceans, right? This is a wonderful meditation for us, that in our own way, whatever insurmountable scenarios that may arise in our life, we feel that we are able to approach it by the mercy we're receiving. So, and we're crossing ultimately over the ocean of birth and death, right? So this is the ocean that we're seeking to cross safely, and by spiritual knowledge, by mercy, we're able to cross that ocean. So one more sweet story, very nice, is that when Hanuman meets with Sita, he sees that she's very well decorated, despite having been kidnapped by Ravana, despite being in exile. She's very well, nicely decorated, nicely dressed, and she's wearing sindoor, kumkum. So we know this is a red powder made from turmeric that is used to decorate the forehead or the part of the hair. And Hanuman says, why are you wearing this, even though you're away from Ram? And Sita says, well, this is for Lord Ram's long life. It's a blessing for him. And also, he becomes very happy when he sees me in this way. So I want to do it because I remember how happy it makes him. So Hanuman says, okay, he's very touched by that. So when he returns, he's remembering that and he's meditating on that, oh, Ram becomes happy when he sees Sita with a little bit of sindoor. So if a little bit of sindoor on Sita makes him happy, why don't I just completely cover my whole body head to toe with sindoor, and he'll become very happy because now he's in exile. I feel so bad. I want him to be happy. So he covers himself head to toe in sindoor, and then he appears before Lord Ram. And yes, Lord Ram becomes extremely happy, and he's laughing. He's laughing, and he's very amused by the whole vision of Hanuman covered head to toe in sindoor. But then he inquires, why did you do this? And he shares his spirit in, yes, because when Sita decorates herself in this way, you become very happy. So I wanted to put from head to toe sindoor just to try to make you happy. And Lord Ram is deeply touched again by this. And to this day, we see, actually in India, I heard this, I should really confirm this statistic, but something that I heard is that there are more Hanuman temples in India than any other type of temple. Don't know. Because it could be that there's the main temple that may be for a different deity, but then there's on the side, there's some altar for Hanuman. So if we count in that way, there are more Hanuman temples in India than any other type of temple. So Hanuman has such universal appeal. And to say that in these temples, quite often you will see that form of Hanuman is orange or red, covered in sindoor. So to this day, it's commemorating that lila. It's commemorating that pastime. Hanuman is offered sindoor because he wants to make Lord Ram happy. So if the bhaktas of Hanuman are offering the sindoor to assist Hanuman in making Ram happy, you see, the Lord becomes even happier when we're serving the devotees than when we're serving the Lord directly. So this is the meditation. And to this day, if you go to India, you may see many Hanuman temples where Hanuman is covered in sindoor in this way. So Hanuman is always thinking about the satisfaction of his beloved Sitaram. And his devotion is one-pointed devotion. Ekanta Bhakti, Ananya Bhakti, right? We have both devotees here in our community with these names. We have Ekanta Bhakti and Ananya Bhakti. It means that there's no other focus. It's one-pointed, fixed devotion. Hanuman, his Ishta Devata, the Lord within his heart, is always Sitaram under every circumstance. And even in Gora Lila, just to briefly mention, when Hanuman himself appears in the pastimes of Lord Chaitanya, Gora Lila, he appears as Murari Gupta, as the physician, the doctor of Lord Chaitanya. So again, physician bringing the healing medicine. And also, there's a very sweet pastime in this Gora Lila when Lord Chaitanya, because Lord Chaitanya was promoting devotion to Krishna. This is mainly, Lord Chaitanya was sharing the Hare Krishna mantra, the holy name, and focusing bhakti upon particularly Radha Krishna. But Murari Gupta, he has his altar of Lord Ram, and he's very attracted to worshiping Sitaram. And so Lord Chaitanya tests him. He says, no, you should worship Krishna. You should worship Krishna. Ishwara Parama Krishna Sachidananda Vigraha. You should worship Krishna. He's the supreme fountainhead of all incarnations. You should worship him. Everything will be satisfied if you just worship Krishna. Of course, we know this to be true. But in this particular situation, Murari Gupta is feeling totally conflicted. And he wants to please Lord Chaitanya. He's greatly devoted to Lord Chaitanya. But he's conflicted and he's sleeping at night and he thinks, I may just have to, I don't know what I'll do. I can't imagine life without worshiping my Lord Ram. So ultimately, he goes to Lord Chaitanya and he expresses this. And Lord Chaitanya is extremely pleased because he says, your devotion to Shri Shri Sitaram is so strong. He doesn't have words to describe this. His heart is so touched by the sincerity and depth of that devotion that even when I instructed you to worship Krishna, you must worship Lord Ram. So anyway, this is just a point of Hanuman's one-pointed bhakti, that even in another age, in another form he appears, nothing has changed. And Lord Chaitanya is very pleased, ultimately. He's encouraging that devotion. He was just testing, and he derived great pleasure from seeing Murari Gupta's insistence upon worshipping Shri Sitaram Lakshman Hanuman like that. So, Hanuman shows us the true nature of our hearts, at best, what we are aspiring toward. Of course, we can't imitate such a great personality as Hanuman, but we can see, like, if you think about, there's a popular depiction of Hanuman. Many have seen this, like if you look at art prints and things like that, Hanuman is shown, he's bearing his heart. Has anyone seen this? He's bearing his heart, he's like opening his heart, and within his heart, you see Shri Shri Sitaram within his heart. So this is a very popular depiction of Hanuman. So he's showing that the devotee, within the heart of the devotee, the Ishta Devata is always there, the particular form of the Lord toward which we feel our natural loving attraction. So Hanuman is showing us that this is possible. This is possible for everyone. Not that, of course, we can't come to the level of Hanuman. Hanuman is an eternal associate of the Lord, but at the same time, we need to understand that the desire in bhakti is that our heart become an altar for the Lord, that the Lord may sit upon the altar of our heart, and that our heart may be fully satisfied by our connection to the Supreme, by devotional service, by chanting of the holy names. So this is also a reality. This is not just a lofty thing. This is that Hanuman is showing us. And also, if we open our hearts now, we may think, oh, what will we see? What will we see? I don't know, YouTube algorithm, or our desire for name, fame, glory, whatever attachments we may have, whatever sweet nostalgic memories we're holding on to from previous eras of our life. Of course, it's all there. But also, our sincere attempt to connect with the Lord is there as well. And that's immediately what Krishna sees. So we open our heart, Krishna immediately sees that. The devotees of Krishna immediately see that. We hear about devotees who fan the spark, meaning that it may be just a little bit, but that devotion is there. And that's what the Lord will pay attention to. So, we can have faith, and we can also be encouraged by the fact that the Lord's always looking at our deepest intention of the heart. In this world, intention doesn't count for very much. If someone hires me to build a house or something for them, and I get 20% done, and I say, I tried really hard, I'll be cited, for something. But, we understand that on the spiritual platform, the intention is what matters the most. How wonderful is that? How wonderful is that? That in a world of results and outward emphasis, that the Lord is always looking within the heart. And as Hanuman reveals within his heart the presence of Shri Shri Sitaram, we understand that actually already the Lord is present within our hearts. It's due to no qualification, of our own necessarily, but it's by the Lord's mercy. He's within the hearts of every living being. He says in Bhagavad Gita, Aham Atma Gudakesha Sarva Bhutta Shayastitaha Aham Adishcha Madhyamcha Bhutanam Anta Evacha. He says, I am the super soul, O Arjuna, seated in the hearts of all living entities. I am the beginning, the middle, and the end of all beings. So he's there already. If we bare our hearts in this moment, is that what we see? We may think that there are so many coverings, but Krishna sees it right now, and the devotees of Krishna see it right now. So that's the most real thing. It may not feel like the most prominent thing, but it's the most real, and therefore the most prominent. Everything else is temporary, fleeting, flickering. But this is eternal. And so even the tiniest desire it can be uncovered. It can be uncovered. So in this age, we're encouraged to chant the Hare Krishna mantra. And Lord Chaitanya says, Cheto Darpana Marjanam. This is what allows us to clear the dust from the mirror of the heart. So already the heart in its natural state is devotional. We understand that there's devotion there, especially when we've been so fortunate to come in contact with community like this, with kirtan, with devotional service, with practice. There's something there. And the chanting will continue to polish the mirror of the heart so that we can see the true nature. And whatever may seem to be competing for space or prominence, within our heart is a very small thing. It will go away, and it will be in its proper place. Everything can be connected to devotional service, whatever our nature is. We don't become automatons. We don't become, one-dimensional. We remain who we are. But whatever we've been given, we offer it to the Lord. And in that way, our hearts may become illuminated by this love for the Lord. So in this age, the holy name allows us to clear the dust from the mirror of the heart. It's explained sometimes in Upanishad that it's like two birds within the heart. So there's one bird, it's like within the tree, there's two birds. That's compared to the Jivatma, our individual soul, and the Paramatma, the Lord's presence within the heart. So that one bird is tasting all of the bitter and sweet fruits of this life. That's our individual soul. The other bird is just observing, wishing the other bird well, and waiting for that bird to turn and notice his presence. So in that same way, if we look within, we just have to turn. We just have to turn toward the Lord. And in that way, we may experience a powerful connection. So it's just a matter of turning in that way. The stronger, our exposure to the practices of bhakti, to the presence of devotees, particularly the satsanga, that will allow us to turn more in that direction. And that animates, our natural devotional propensity. And different experiences in our life, we may feel kind of like a knock within the heart, right? So this evidences the presence of the Lord already within our heart. We may feel like when we're going through a difficulty or something wonderful is happening, it's different for everyone. But there may be just certain times when you just kind of feel, and it's like, what is happening here? And in that way, we are moved to pursue this connection more deeply. We're moved to investigate, what is it that I'm feeling within myself? So Krishna says, as they surrender unto me, I reward them accordingly. So we take a step, and Krishna is moving toward us too. So the folk saying, it's not a scriptural thing, but sometimes it's said that, if we take one step toward Krishna, Krishna takes 10 steps toward us. Sometimes people say 100, same mood. Krishna is always eager to reciprocate and patiently waiting for us to deepen our loving connection. So Hanuman shows us the power and potency of one who has sincerely allowed their heart to become a temple for the Lord. The Lord is sitting on the altar of his heart at all times, and everything that he does, all of the incredible things that he does, is a very natural and inevitable extension of that faith. And these things constantly nourish each other. Whatever he does, it deepens his faith. And his faith grows, so he's able to offer more to the Lord. So as we approach Sri Ram Navami, coming up the 26th is the actual day, I believe. So we pray to Hanuman that our hearts may become softened and just more and more open to the reality of the Lord's love for us, the joy of devotional service, the guidance and mercy that are already flowing in our lives, and may more and more guidance, mercy, grace come into our life as we, in whatever way we can, sincerely try to act as Hanuman did for the pleasure of the Lord, and to offer whatever energies of the Lord, whatever gifts and abilities we've been entrusted with, whatever circumstances we find ourselves in, to offer that to the Lord for the Lord's pleasure, not trying to just enjoy separately for ourselves, as did Ravana, but trying to offer it back to the Lord, as did Hanuman. So we pray that we may be guided in this direction continuously as we move toward Sri Ram Navami and reflect upon these pastimes of Sri Hanuman. So may Sri Hanuman bestow more and more devotion upon us and increase our loving connection to the Lord, who are ever enshrined within his heart. So all glories to Sri Hanuman. And thank you all so much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna. So I'd really love to hear any reflections, questions, comments, realizations. Hare Krishna. Chainitai Prabhu, please.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Dina Bandhu Prabhu, for a very lovely class and really taking us into the heart of Hanuman. I have two questions I was wondering if you could expand on. The first one was, at the very beginning you mentioned Hanuman is the embodiment of dasya ras, and you opened up the idea of rasas in different relationships. I was wondering if you could expand on that just a little bit. And then I have another question that's kind of more personal.
Okay, so I'll start answering the first one?
Yeah.
Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you for the question. Yeah, so we're talking about rasas, which are sometimes translated as, different tastes or different flavors of devotion. So rasa can also just refer to a particular mood. So in our philosophy, it's very much emphasized this concept of rasa, and it's very important because we emphasize the personal connection that one may have with the Lord, and that there's quite a lot of variety in those connections. And that variety is very natural because we're all individuals. And also that variety is ultimately very pleasing to the Supreme because it's, just a beautiful variety, depth of experience that the Lord is personally able to have, interfacing with so many different moods of love and devotion. So those rasas, the primary rasas that we are emphasizing, so there's Shanta ras, which is a neutral rasa. So that's sometimes not mentioned as much, but that is, just a neutral kind of mood of awe and reverence, but it's not so engaged. It's a little bit more passive. Then there is Dasya ras, as we mentioned, which is Hanuman's primary mood, which is the mood of servitude, always eager to serve the Supreme. And there's a little bit more awe and reverence there also, but it's also very sweet and very intimate because whatever the servant is doing is ultimately for the pleasure of the Lord. And that pleasure is sometimes compared to like watering the root of a tree, where if the Lord is served, then automatically all of the servants and everyone actually become happy as a result. So the happiness of one in Dasya ras is the happiness of the Supreme. So Hanuman serves in that way. He's always aspiring to serve Lord Ram at every turn. So then there's also Sakya ras, which is friendship, a mood of friendship toward the Supreme Lord. And this is less awe and reverence and more playful, more kind of outwardly equal kind of connection, but also still colored by a deep, deep affection and appreciation for the Supreme. So this would be like the mood of Lord Balaram, although he's in many different rasas also, but that's his primary mood. And also like the cowherd boys in Goloka. And then finally, we have Vatsalya ras, which is the parental mood. So in this case, Kaushalya, Mother Kaushalya in Ram Leela, Dasarath. When Lord Ram is exiled to the forest, Dasarath actually literally loses his life. He cannot hold on anymore because of grief of being separated from his son. So this is a beautiful example of Vatsalya ras. And then we have Madhurya ras, which is the most intimate, loving connection in the mood of conjugal connection, romantic love for the Supreme. And that is exemplified, of course, in this case, Madhurya ras in Ram Leela, Sita for Ram, but also in Krishna Leela, we celebrate the love of Srimati Radharani and the gopis for Krishna.
Perfect questions, perfect answers.
Thank you, John. Perfect answers anyway. The other question, Prabhu, thank you for that. That was very nicely explained. The other question was just what I caught at the end, and it just struck me how I really struggle with this personally myself, which is, you mentioned in spiritual life, it's about the intention. and not necessarily the result. And I love the example you gave. If I say I'm going to build you a house and I get 20% done, you know. So sometimes, it occurs that, of course, often quote that if we try to offer, I'm not sure what the time is, if we try to offer Krishna a mango, or we make an offering to Krishna, and we know on the heavenly planets they have mangoes the size of elephants. So what can our little mango accomplish? It's like, but it's the bhakti, it's the intention that we offer the love with.
Yeah.
But then at the same time, I think that if, it's like if my intention, the Lord has to be offered his lunch. Like right now his curtains are closed. So it's like my intention is to, cook the offering, but hey, I didn't really make it and I got a couple of items. At least that's a good intention. Or it's supposed to be offered at a specific time, but then it's 10 minutes late. So there seems to be some sort of a balance with intention and also completion.
Yeah.
or as Prabhupada would say, we judge a thing by its results. So also there is that. So I'm just wondering if you could comment on that a little bit.
Thank you. Yeah, beautiful question. Beautiful question. So yeah, there is naturally a balance there. But what I would I'm like just gauging if I can make a bold statement, but I would say the intention is more important. The intention will always be more important. But as we mentioned, we're given gifts and abilities by the Lord. And we are striving to become one of the qualities of a Vaishnava is that the Vaishnava is expert. So we're trying to increase our capacity to make nice offerings. But is it better to offer an incomplete, seemingly incomplete offering than to, better than nothing? Always, for sure, because that's where illusion can come in a little bit, where we feel like, it's not perfect, so therefore I'm just not going to do anything. I'm not going to offer anything. So it's like, it's very powerful to offer what you can. And also one little example is that, like when a child makes like the macaroni picture in school, they like glue the dry macaroni to a paper or something like that with some glitter, and like the glitter's falling off of the paper and stuff like that, and then they hand it to the parent. The parent feels the love. So in the same way, the Lord is feeling our love no matter how imperfect the offering. But if we're capable of doing a painting like this, as opposed to the macaroni picture, then of course we're going to try to make a painting like this because the Lord's given us that capability. So as time goes on, we do try to deepen the offering. And again, the quality of the offering may also be reflective of the intention. The intention can manifest in terms of a very lovely offering. But always better to do what we can in that moment rather than to feel that we're somehow disqualified or that the Lord doesn't want our offering, because the Lord will prefer simple patram pushpam phalam toyam, leaf, fruit, flower, water, will prefer that than to our like disengagement from our connection. So I hope that kind of balances a little bit. It's a very, very nice question. We could definitely talk more about it.
Yeah, somehow your answer really reminded me of the story of the chipmunk and Hanuman.
Yeah, please.
No, you.
Okay. Yeah, so they're building the bridge to Lanka. And I see Champak. I saw your hand. I definitely want to hear from you. I saw the bridge to Lanka. They're building the bridge to Lanka when they're trying to reach and rescue Sita. And so there are these very powerful monkeys like Hanuman, and there are also bears, and there are other powerful beings who are like hoisting these enormous boulders and throwing them into the ocean. And we also hear sometimes in some tellings that the boulders are able to stay afloat because they have the name of Lord Ram, Ram Nam, written on them. So anyway, it's just a nice little image there. But yeah, so they're hoisting and throwing these huge boulders to make the bridge to Lanka, which some say you can actually still see that bridge, like some aerial view. I saw some photograph. But yeah, so that bridge is there. And there's a squirrel or a chipmunk, sometimes a spider, the point is, very small creature who is kicking a little bit of sand into the ocean. And it's, of course, just sinking to the bottom. And some of the more powerful members of the army are saying, "Get out of here, you're in the way," like that. And Lord Ram is saying, "No, don't stop them from making their offering. They're making an offering." So again, the Lord, no matter how simple or small our offering, thank you for bringing that up, it will be acceptable because the Lord sees the heart of the offering. Yes, Champak, please.
You already made the that the result is driven by the intention. So we can judge the intention by what kind of result we get, because from your story of Hanuman bringing the whole mountain, because his intention was so potent and so pure, and we can see with the example of Srila Prabhupada and other acharyas in our tradition that anything is possible if your heart is so pure. So, and even in mundane life, I'll be 30 minutes late to a meeting, but say, I really tried. Did I really? So we can judge by our result. Was that really important to me? So there is a direct correlation, like you explained.
Yeah, no, thank you for that point. That brings out a lot of the subtlety of this question. It brings out a lot of the nuance. I appreciate that. Thank you. Any other reflections anyone would like to share? Thank you. Thank you all so much. Thank you.
His Grace Dina Bandhu ki. I will just take a moment to say, in a sea of extremely special qualified devotees at Bhakti Center, is there anyone sweeter and more encouraging than Dina Bandhu Prabhu? No. Truly. No, there is not. Thank you so much. Haribol. Just as a reminder, before RT begins, this is the second in 3 Sunday programs that will be focused on the lead up to Ram Navami. So we'll have one more next week. Who is our speaker next week? Jai Thai Prabhu, or a surprise, either way. So please come back for that. It will be very exciting and make this festival all the sweeter. So in just a moment, we will have Arti. So if you could please help us to stack the cushions and put the chairs away, and we will sing and dance for their lordships. Hari Bol. Thank you very much.
Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namine
Srila Prabhupada ki jai. ISKCON founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada ki jai. BBT founder Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur ki jai. Ram Singh Ho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Radha Shivasti Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gop Govinda Shamakun Radha Kund Giri Govardhana ki jai. Shri Vrindavan Dham ki jai. Mayapur Navadvip Dham ki jai. Ganga Maya ki jai. Chamuna Maya ki jai. Tulsi Devi ki jai. Bhakti Devi ki jai. Shri Shri Radha Muralidhar ki jai. Gaur Chandra Bhagavan ki jai. Harinam Sankirtanya ki jai. Brahmananga Transcendental Book Distribution ki jai. Nandita Guru Prananandi. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the lotus feet of Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga. All glories to Shri Prabhupada.
Namaste Narasimhaya. Namaste Narasimhaya. Namaste Narasimhaya. Namaste Hare
Jai! Jai! Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Wow, raucous. Thank you. That was wonderful. Well, this is bringing us to the end of our program today, but there's always a lot going on here at Bhakti Center. So I wanted to share a few more things we have coming up. So as we noted earlier in the program, we do have Ram Navami approaching. That is on Thursday, March 26th. So please be here. There's lots of information on the website about how you can volunteer or donate and really be part of the festival in any way that speaks to you. So you can find all of that at bhakticenter.org. We also have a fun flea market coming up. That is on Saturday, April 11th, which is really soon. So more information again is in the newsletter and the WhatsApp group. If you're not on either of those, please let Bhagavad Bhakti know. She's waving and she's behind the camera, and you're also waving. Do you have something?
Anyone wants to be a vendor?
Yes, if you want to be a vendor, you can participate by applying here to a form that's linked in the places I noted. So, WhatsApp, newsletter, talk to Bhagavad Bhakti. It all comes back around. That's going to be really fun, so please do be part of that. Few other things. I know it's crazy, but we are getting into spring, summer, festival season. So planting a seed. It's crazy. You heard it here first. April 30th, Narasimha Chaturdashi coming up. It's in April this year, not May. Don't be surprised. Get it on the calendar early. April 30th. Yeah. Okay, today we have a nice crowd here. We're here every Sunday. If you're interested in serving out or washing dishes or mopping the floor, all these other incredible services for the devotees, please feel free. You can come over to any one of us that you see serving and say you'd like to participate. We'd love to have you. Finally, we have a really cool new tap board that I'm going to make sure is plugged in that you can really easily donate at the front near Prasadam if you feel so inspired. These are community-run programs, and we depend on you all, our community. Thank you so much for being here. Another big thank you to His Grace Dina Bandhu for moving. Please come back again and again. Enjoy Prasadam. Thank you all.
Janda Prabhu ki.
Jai.